Hi, everybody. It's been a minute since I've posted anything, but Cathy Carphin, a regular guest of mine here on Joy Factor, is joining us again as she has some new and exciting projects to talk about. Before we get into that, I will start with the land acknowledgement. Um, I come to you from the unceded traditional and ancestral territories of the Coast Salish people, in particular the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I do a land acknowledgement as my part in contributing to the ongoing process of healing and reconciliation. Welcome, Cathy.
Well, thank you. And I'm here on Vancouver Island, so our Coast Salish community is Lekwungen speaking. So
Thank
that's my
you.
contribution.
Thank you. So let's talk about a little bit of your process. What got you to the new projects you want to share today? And then you can tell us about your new projects.
Hmm. Well, just for people who, might be too catching this for the first time, I
Hmm.
know you and I have talked over time about various things going, oh, well, probably just ideas or understandings about what grief is. But what got me here was really the last 10 years of my life have been going through a journey. The catalyst was the death of my husband in 2019. But people keep reminding me that I went through a lot more than that, which I just took as this is what life hands you, and so you deal with it, right?
Hmm.
But they remind me that yeah, it's all part of that process. So in 2015, he had a stroke
Hmm.
and became really quite dependent. Not severely dependent. He was still able to do many things for himself, but decision making wasn't one of them. so so for 3 years, I really managed his quality of life, and his body began to deteriorate, and so my role in his caregiving was more and more over time. And then in that process, I had my own cancer therapy that I went through for a whole year, being poked and prodded and scanned and and
Drugged.
a surgery, and yeah, it was a lot. And because he was cognitively impaired, I really didn't know how to communicate that with him. So
Hmm.
that was a stressor for me. But again, it's just something I did because it was there to be done. But when he died, um, Sue, it all kind of came tumbling down on me. I suddenly I didn't know who I was anymore. All the of my raison d'etre, I suppose, had gone. I was still working, and so that was really a blessing for me that keeps some normalcy in my life. But I also, being a curious sort of person, I decided I had to really understand what it was that hit me at this point. Like I just didn't, it was not part of my life experience.
Mm.
I mean, I've had challenges over my life, but nothing like losing my life partner of 50 years. So I did an investigation into this thing called grief. What is it? What happens? What is it all about? And so I did a lot of research, a lot of studying. I got certified as a grief educator and a coach. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, I've learned all this stuff. I feel like I've got some grounding now. I really feel like I need to share this information because not everybody's going to go through the work that I went through.
Hmm.
And, a lot of people, even if they've lost their spouse, they still have family to care for, kids and parents and whatnot. So we don't all have the luxury, perhaps, that I had. Uh, so I felt like whatever it is that I've learned, I really want to share. And I have a heart of a writer, I suppose. So my way of doing that was opening a Substack blog, and I posted an article about grieving, that grieving process. What's grief? What is it that we grieve? Because it is while we always think of it as a death of somebody very dear to us,
Hmm.
we grieve many, many things. And even in the death, I was grieving the loss of who I was,
Mm.
right? So one one catalyst can lead to the need to grieve many things, and a lot of self-searching can happen. And if we've lost a job, or we've had a financial setback, or we've lost our home in a flood, or so many things that
Mm.
we deal with because we have to, right?
Mhm.
But part of that dealing with it is dealing with the emotional impact. That's what
Right.
grief is all about. If we want to come out of it alive, I guess I would say.
Yeah, there are some people that would also call it a dark night of the soul.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, and we're all different because
Hmm.
we have different life experiences. We approach life differently from each other.
Hmm.
So grieving it is a very common process, and it's actually very healthy. Uh,
Hmm.
Oftentimes people think, well, like this is so different. So it's not right. I shouldn't be doing this, but it is healthy. I would suggest, the only way through.
Hmm.
And I'm happy to say, Sue, that I finally feel like I have come through this long, dark tunnel of
Mm.
grieving. And I would say about last summer, I began to feel like, oh, I'm back into the light. I'm noticing people. I'm laughing more. It's a slow process. And that at some point you realize, okay, it's not that I don't still remember or miss or any of those things, but life is returning to me. And so that's where I'm at now. And let's see, where do you want to move on to? People said to me, why don't you write a book? So I go, "Oh, okay, I've been thinking about it, but all right." So January of 25, I started on this book.
Right? Please don't give me something more to worry about.
Right. And it's really my story, but more than that, really more importantly than that, I mean, my story is only an illustration of the
Hmm.
many, 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 many things that can happen to us in life. But the latter part of the book, I guess I would say, is really talking about what is this thing we call grief. You know,
Right.
I consider really all of us, we're heroes of our own life.
Hmm.
When we face the challenges that come up for us, who's going to deal with them but us?
Right.
That makes us the hero. And I don't really care how you do it, but you're going to get through it. And it's going to take as long as it's going to take. That's just the way it works.
Hmm.
So this has been available since on Amazon and on my website, let's talk together.ca, little plug.
We'll put
Um,
the links below.
Thank you. Um, this has been available, I think, since the summer
Mhm.
of 25. And then a friend of mine said, she said, I like to read before I go to sleep, and it would be really nice, because my articles are online.
Hmm.
So this is a person who likes to hold something in their
Right.
hand and read, right?
Yeah.
So I sort of curated my articles,
Hmm.
and I don't know, I have about 50, 60 articles
Oh,
that I've published. Um, so I curated them so that they would fall into sort of themes. And
right.
they're in this book now, which is now available, called Grief
Unveiled.
Unveiled. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. The other one's in color. This one's in black and white
Right.
because it's the content. In fact, the other one could have been in black and white, but my marketing person said, "Oh, he says the pictures are really good. I think they should be in color." So, okay.
Well, yeah, and it makes it easier for people to identify with
Yeah.
colored pictures.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
did try and put a picture into each one of my articles because I know we do, pictures tell a story as well, right?
Right.
So, so that is now available on Amazon and on my website as well. I think it's just been about in the last month.
Right.
Moving into the future, I have a third book that I've been actually working on since early 25 and maybe even earlier than that. I can't remember, but it's just been one where I keep going. I thought I was done with it and then I went back with it. And right now it's out to beta readers. So I'm kind of hoping it'll be available soon. It's
Right.
called, so look for this. And if it's in the description, people sort of keep their eye on it, out for it too. It's called 3 Days to Do the Laundry.
Oh, yes.
And
Okay.
it's again my story, but
Right.
curated in a different way.
Right.
But really a lot of discussion about stress,
Mm-hmm.
fatigue. And fatigue comes from many sources,
Mm-hmm.
which I do talk about, but the fatigue that I experienced came from those 3 or 4 years that I talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There was a physical fatigue for me from the cancer therapy,
Right.
and then the emotional fatigue from all the things that had gone on with my husband. So I talk about those things, and my mission, I guess I would say, is that whatever I've been through and whatever I've learned, people who want to know about that, who want some
Guidance.
markers, some
Okay.
guideposts to help them along in their journey will benefit from my writing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my hope. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Mm. And I guess the other thing is that I'm looking into doing a newsletter. And the funny thing is, I started doing that quite a while ago. And YouTube is a wonderful resource.
Mm-hmm.
But the other day, I'm asking myself, why, like I've been listening to all these ideas and how to's, why haven't I actually done anything about it?
Well,
So, yeah, go ahead.
I think in terms of a process, we're going to hear things. We need to process them and understand them in a number of different ways before we can actually sit down and do them. So I don't think anybody who is a creative person should beat themselves up for how long the process takes them because it's every creative project is a different project in and of itself. So it's going to have a different way of manifesting each and every time. You have to be willing to be in the mess of it though. Like it's never going to be the first draft is never your final draft.
Right.
Your second draft isn't even your final draft.
Yeah.
I'm on draft maybe 30.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, like of one project.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's 30 because there's been times when I've edited it in the process of writing it.
Hmm.
So like the first 10 chapters got way more attention than
Yeah.
the last 10 chapters.
Yeah.
So now the last 10 chapters have to go back and I have to give them the same attention as I gave the first 10. So, and it's a back and forth.
Exactly. And one of the challenges I had with the 3 days to do the laundry is I don't like to go back and review things. I figure once it's done, it's done.
Oh, interesting. I
But
actually
that
like
is
going
not
back.
always, sorry, say again.
I like going back.
Oh, do you? Yeah, no. I'm like, okay, it's done. That's it. Moving on. But no, not if you want a good product. It really does need to be a consistent whole, right? The
Mm-hmm.
newsletter, though, is quite a different process than I've been used to so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only writing, but it's really understanding the distribution process of the internet, right? So
Yeah.
that's where I turn to my social media person, Shout with Joy Communications. Um, he's very, very patient with me because I keep, well, I don't keep, but I do change what I'm working on and therefore what I want him to help me with. Oh, which
Right.
reminds me, the audio version of this he's working on.
Right.
But he has other big projects to work on and other clients. So, I get to wait my turn for when he can give me time. So
You're in the queue.
it's been a process for sure. I'm
Mhm.
very anxious to have the audio come out. I think that I did the reading of it, and
Right.
my understanding of sort of public interest is, especially being in my story,
Right.
it has more impact if I'm reading
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
Yeah. The newsletter is really quite a different kettle of fish for me, and so that's partly why I have been kind of not. I've been letting it kind of boil around in my head for a while. Like, what is it I want it to do? What should it look like?
Right.
Plus, the other thing, I mean, this is part of. I didn't mention this before, but part of being in the grieving process is it often calls us to look back into our own history,
Hmm.
um, for whatever reason. There's a whole, you
Moments of
grieve one thing, you
reflections.
grieve many. Sorry?
Moments of reflections.
Yeah. And for me, I was thinking, so why is this so difficult for me? Even to make notes about what they said on the video is, schoolwork was hard for me. I
Mm.
worked really hard for every grade I got. And so for me, this was like going back to school. And
Mm.
yeah, so that's part of what my resistance is, I think.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also because you're a one and done kind of personality, and
Yeah.
reflection is very much going back and processing the past.
Yeah.
And it sometimes people will talk about it being the rearview mirror. I don't call it the rearview mirror because it's bigger than that.
Well, we carry everything with us, don't we? So
Yeah.
it is all very present.
Yeah. So, well, um, some people are better at reflecting in and getting rid of things as they need to.
Mm,
And I think that's what a spiritual practice teaches you, or what church is supposed to teach you. And
yeah.
that's why it's a weekly thing. Reflect on your week,
Yeah.
get rid of what you need to for the week, leave your baggage at the door of the church, or however, whatever temple you go to, and then move on into the next week clean.
Hmm.
So a weekly process doesn't it lets you release your baggage more. But the thing is, a lot of people have become disassociated with that and don't and don't recognize or understand the value of a weekly or even daily reflection in order to release the baggage and move on into a new day with a clean
I
slate.
appreciate you saying that. I really hadn't thought about church that way.
Mm,
A lot of my certainly my books, but a lot of my work, I really always want to end with hope. I always want to end whatever I write with, you know, this is not the end of the road. There is more road to go. And on that end, you will find peace and healing and joy and
mhm,
laughter.
mhm,
Um, so I appreciate that comment about church because it's that same kind of process.
mhm.
Yeah. I mean, we should hopefully walk out of there feeling better than than we maybe did when we walked in.
Renewed. Well, I would certainly hope that the pastor or whomever is leading the service would that's their purpose for being there is to lead you through that.
Yeah, well, some of
What's
them are a little
interesting?
more doom and gloom, but okay.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting though because the people that come also have to be prepared to meet the person there
Yeah, yeah,
and understand what their role in their spiritual well-being or emotional well-being or intellectual well-being. You have to meet people where you are and take
yeah,
responsibility for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've done in terms of reflecting, it's been a long journey for me, and one of the things I recognized I had to do was go back and heal that little kid who
Hmm.
grew up in a particular kind of household, right? And so here on my computer screen, I have some, well, they're not affirmations, but they're just kind of reminders that I'm nurturing that little kid inside of me because when I can integrate who I am now with that little one,
Hmm.
I'm more productive, and I presume that works. It works that way for most people.
Yeah.
So, in addition to my writing, that really has been my main focus. But I also do work one to one online
Hmm.
with people who want to just, I'm not a therapist, but I've been where they are and can maybe help them through some of the struggles they're experiencing.
Right. It's a coach. You call yourself a
Coaching, yeah,
coach. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Good.
And
Yeah.
as a coach, it's not my role to, you think of a sports coach, they're a person who is very knowledgeable about the game they're coaching,
Hmm.
and they help people develop their skills. And I mean, I guess they maybe have other roles depending on who they work for. But
Yeah.
the kind of coaching I do is possibly a little more like therapy because I think that we're each responsible for our own responses. We know ourselves best, and
Hmm.
sometimes really all we need is an outside person to help us reflect on our own awareness, right? And our own
Right.
what steps forward are best for us. You
I think one of the best things I've heard about coaching is that they are helping you be accountable.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. To yourself,
Yes. For
accountable
your
to yourself.
actions and
Yeah.
in a team environment,
Yeah.
being accountable for the team as well. There
Yeah, it
is,
depends on your focus. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, yeah. There was one coach in basketball that always said who if somebody passed the ball to the player who scored when they were running back down the court, the player who scored always had to point to the person that passed them the ball and say thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for the assist.
If you feel you've been hurt by something or someone or whatever, that really helps not to dwell on that, but to be grateful for what you do have. Forgive them and forgive yourself.
Yeah, well, forgiveness is a big one because that takes that's a process of reflection too, because
Entirely. Yeah.
whenever there's a relationship and somebody's done something wrong,
Mm.
what is your role in receiving and then um, either rejecting or moving on from
Mhm.
the,
I think we need to give each other grace, right? I
yeah.
don't I don't think we always intend to hurt, but things can come
Oh.
across that way
Hmm.
because we don't know what's really going on with the other person, right?
That's right. It's
Yeah.
not like our messy minds are always revealed.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at these days. Yeah.
That's right. And then you have a nonfiction, no, a fiction thing
I
that you're
have a
working on.
yes. I decided that I didn't need to produce another book about grief, but at least not in the sort of information providing way,
Hmm.
that I wanted to explore my own sort of creative juices a little
Hmm.
bit more. And I've just started. Who knows how long it'll take because it's new. It's a new format for me, new genre. But
That's
I
okay.
wanted to
And
do
even if it never gets published, it's fine.
it's good.
Who cares? It's
I,
just fun.
it's I just kind of wanted to explore an aspect of the grieving process in a more fiction story kind of way, storytelling way.
Yes, very much
Yeah.
so. All right. Well, Kathy, I think we'll leave our conversation there.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being my guest today.
Well, thank you for having me on to sort of update people on what's going on in grief education.
In the Let's Talk Together world of Kathy. I will
Yeah.
be putting all of Kathy's links down in the description box below if you wish to explore her books and find out what she has to say about grieving and other processes there, then you are welcome to do so. And please like, share, and comment on our conversation today. Thank you so much, Kathy. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Sue.
Okay, bye.
Bye.